Hello. Hello. So the first thing with the trombone, I would like to teach you are the actual, or how to actually open the instrument. So here's the case. Okay. I'll take that. Oh. And then the first step you might want to maybe get a chair or something. Perfect. Okay. So you're going to always want to put it on a safe surface. So you can either do a chair like this if you have it. Okay. Okay. So now with the case, you always want to make sure that the brand of the instrument is facing on the top. So where it says Yamaha, that always has to be up. And then you want the handle facing as close to you as possible. So even if it's just on like a slant, you can put it on my leg. Okay, and then you can open it. So the reason for this is because the bell part here isn't secured in, so if you open it the other way, then it'll fall out, and same with the mouthpiece. So next what I want to teach you is the different parts of the instrument. So like I said, this part here is the bell, and then right here on the bell, you have the slide receiver, so that's where it it goes in the little hole and you screw it on. And this little part here is the same as the trumpet which you played, and it's the mouthpiece. And then this part here is the actual slide. So there's different parts to the actual slide. You have this little wiggly part down here, which is the what's it called? The water key. So a lot of times when you play, there's condensation that builds up in here, mixed with from your mouth and everything. So when you're playing, sometimes you just blow into it and you open it out, and then it'll all come out. Another part is right here, the slide lock. So whenever you take this out, you always want to make sure that the slide lock is fully on, because then no matter how you grab it, the slide won't fall off. So when you undo it, then you can pull the slide out. But you have to be careful because you can pull it too far out, and then this whole metal part here will come fully off, and then it's just a pain in the butt to get back on. Okay. So the next thing I want to teach you is embouchure. So this is the fun part. So for this, what you're going to do is you want to, when you say the letter M, so how your lips come together like that, and then you want to kind of tighten the corner of your lips there. So it's M, and then just try to make a buzzing sound with your lips. Perfect. Okay, so now I want you to try that with the mouthpiece. Here you go. So what you have to do, you have to make sure. Perfect. So the mouthpiece always covers 2/3 of your upper lip and 1/3 of your lower lip. Perfect. All right, you got the hang of this already. Let's see. Okay, so then in order to play the trombone, you really have to have a lot of breath support, because you're constantly moving your arm, and the instrument's kind of heavy, so you want to make sure that you have good breath support. So the easiest way to do that is, you're a singer, so it's kind of the same. You want to make sure that you're sitting when you have the instrument on your sit bones, and that you make sure that your sternum is not collapsed, and then you can take keep your throat loose and make sure you can just take a good deep breath. Okay, so now we're going to actually set up the instrument. So I want you to take out the slide part. Perfect. And then there's a little stop here at the end. So that I want you to put on the floor. Perfect, and I'll take the mouthpiece for now. Okay, so now take the bell.
So now that you're holding it, so when you're not playing, that's the perfect way to hold it.
So now this part here is going to go on top of the slide receiver, which is there.
Now your back is straight. You don't want it to be
And then this is the important part. You want to make sure that it's at a 90-degree angle, and that this part here is on the right. And then all you have to do is just screw that down.
Yeah, so you can pull it up right in the corner. You can pull it up.
Perfect. Okay, and then you're going to take the mouthpiece, and you're going to put it in this part right here, and then just give it a little twist so that it stays. Perfect. And then that's all it is to setting up the instrument. Okay. So, for the next part, now we're going to learn how to actually hold it. do, it's always important that you bring the instrument to you instead of like going to the instrument. So I want you to lift it up. Okay. And now your left hand is going to be what really like supports everything. So you want to take it so that your pointer finger, so here with you. Sorry, let me just see this real quick. I want to make sure I get it right. Okay. Sometimes you have to make sure it's like really tight. This one like slides around all the time. Okay. So with your right hand, take your last 3 fingers and kind of put them in this corner. Perfect. And your thumb just kind of rests, and then your pointer finger goes in the mouthpiece. Okay. And now bring that up onto your shoulder, and then the mouthpiece goes right up to your mouth. Okay. So it's like kind of awkward at first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
And holding the slide like that without holding it like within a fist.
Oh, that's right. So your thumb actually wraps around this little bar here, and then that allows you to support it more. Perfect. And then keep this finger also in there. Good. Okay, so now your right hand, its only job is to move the slide. So you're going to take your middle finger and your pointer finger and your thumb, and this part here is called the second brace of the slide. This one here is the first brace. So your right hand goes on the second brace just like this and squeezes the slide. And then, so if we unlock here, try moving it. So you have to always make sure that you're not just like grabbing it like a fist, because then it's very hard to like move quickly. Okay, so now I want you to try to just make a sound out of it. Perfect. So that note that you're getting right now is an F. So the first note that we want to play is actually a B flat, which is a fifth below it. So what I want you to do is try to like loosen up the middle part of your lip a bit more. Perfect, there you go. Awesome. Alright, so what you're doing now is called first position, where the slide is all the way up, and then you're just playing the note. So the notes you can get out of that are B flat and the F that you played, and you can also get a B flat, which is very hard, but it's there. So, also, if there's like any time that you're having trouble tuning, if you look at the back of the trombone there, this little part here is called the tuning side. You can pull that out a little bit, which will change the intonation of the sound. Okay, so if you want to put your right hand back on the slide, and now that's called first position. Now I want you to go to sixth position, which is where you extend your arm fully. Okay, and now try to play the sound with the same embouchure as the B flat. Okay, go back up to the B flat. I think that's a C. I think so.
What should I be playing?
It's a C. So it goes, first position is B flat. Try lower.
I'm used to the trumpet where it has to be like super tight all the time.
Yeah, this one's really difficult because a lot of times, you have the F and the B flat, which are so close in the embouchure. Really just what you have to do is work on making sure this is loose, but these are still tight.
So if there's any kind of
It's getting there. So that note, I believe, is the C. So that all the way extended is sixth position, and that's the C. So the next note that I want you to play is going to be a D, and that's going to be in fourth position. So fourth position, you see the end of this slide right here? That is going to be even with the end of the bell. Perfect. A little lower. Good. So now try going back to the C, and then up to the D. Perfect. How does that feel?
It's good. It's just like it's very different from the trumpet because the mouthpiece on the trumpet is a lot smaller and everything has to be like super tight and concentrated. So it's a little like challenging just making everything loose, like having to reach.
Yeah, definitely when I started I found it was easier for some reason to make the F instead of the B flat in first position just because I feel like that's what's more natural. Like you want to make everything tighter, but it's just really important if you want to do the M and then tighten your lips because that helps keep this front part loose. And then try going to B flat again.
I think that's a B flat.
I think so. Okay, so one thing with the slide that's very important, if you pull it out a little bit, you can see how there's like some water on here. So sometimes if you find the slide like very hard to move, there's something called slide grease, which you can just put a little bit on the silver part, not on the gold part, and then you just spray it with water. So the slide grease is what helps the water stick. If not, the water will just fall off, and then you'll find that it makes it a lot easier to just move the slide. Okay, and then so first position again. Try the B flat. There you go. And then go to sixth position. And then try fourth position. So you always have to be careful with this one because this here is fourth position. But then if you move the second brace to the end of the bow, that's a different position and you'll get another note. So you have to be really careful with those two.
In the moment, it's easier, but
Okay, so last thing I want to teach you is just like the care of the instrument. So like I said, there's the slide grease, which is important. But the number one thing you want to make sure when you start to play is that there's nothing you're going to bang into. So like if you're in like one of the silent practice rooms, like those are very small. So you have to make sure that you stand like away from the piano and away from the walls and just make sure that you're not going to bang into anything. And then another thing is with the condensation, like I said before, the water slide. So if you find that you're getting like a very like raspy tone from it, it could be because there's so much water. So what you can do is you can pull this all the way up and then you press this and you just kind of blow into the instrument and then it'll release the water. Yeah. So once, if you've been playing for a while, then you just do that into like a garbage can or something, and then it'll get rid of all the water. Okay, and then, so with putting the instrument down, you always want to make sure that it's like very safe. So first of all, in an area that it won't be stepped on. So like if you're gonna like just put it down for 5 minutes and come back to play, your best bet is to put it on the floor because then like it won't fall or anything. So if you take it and you put it down, just make sure again that the slide is always locked, and then you can just simply rest it like that, and then you can always tuck it under your chair just so no one steps on it. That's the trombone.
Yay, thank you.